Hey, look, my producer is over. Hey, why? Welcome to Moment with Moesghetti. I'm your hostess with the mostesses, Moesghetti herself. My producer, Mr. Tone Deaf of the Tone Deaf Network, is over here distracting me a little bit as I get into the show, but it's all right. It's okay. It is okay because that just is just a testament to how supportive of a producer I have and how much fun we have here in the Sherman Phoenix. Hello, what's happening? What's happening? That's how I'm supposed to start. Yes, welcome to the Moment with Moesghetti podcast, where we talk about mental health and spiritual wellness. I am your host, and today we will be talking about people pleasing. So I want to say I'm excited about this subject, but to be honest, it has been chasing me all week in different avenues of life, and it makes me cringe a little bit because I'm a now self-proclaimed recovering people pleaser. I say I'm in recovery because I'm trying to repent from my ways. But anyways, before we get into the topic of today, you already know how it is. We gotta have the church announcements. So let's get into. Hold on, because look, we was talking about getting me a sound for my church announcements, but we ain't got one yet. So we just gonna do this.
What did you get?
Air horn.
Oh, the volume might be turned down.
See, this time it wasn't me and having it not work. It just wasn't working. Did you turn the volume up or did it just decide to work? I'm gonna start playing with the buttons before the show because apparently they don't be wanting to load for me. But anyways, oh, I forgot to say, I'm your auntie, sister, cousin, best friend, always coming with the realness. I've been having so much fun in here that I'm forgetting all my intros and stuff like that. So, but if you're having fun with me, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the show with the people in your lives you feel enlightened by the topics that we speak on today, and you want to continue the conversation beyond the live stream. Hi. So again, let's go and get into the church announcements. All right. They can't hear you, so it just looks like I'm laughing at I can't even see you.
They heard the horn,
and they can't hear you. So now I just seem like I'm in here talking to myself. But
see, ties it to the script.
Shut up. Okay, church announcements. Hi. So, for those who are followers of my artistry and the many, many things I'm a part of, you will know that I am a member, a holy soprano in Anthony Moesghetti and Praise Motivated, aka AMPM. And we have an exciting announcement coming up. On September 13th, we will be releasing our single from our upcoming album, and the single is called We Believe God. Let me tell you about the song. It makes me absolutely get into my feels and cry even a little bit because it is such an inspirational song about just holding on, holding tight, and believing in God through your different circumstances. And so I'm really excited about the release of this single. I'm really excited about you guys being able to have it and listen to it at your own leisures. And so AMPM, We Believe God, will be out and available on all streaming platforms September 13th. So get ready. Hey. Next church announcement. Oh, and speaking of which, just right on time, Miss Vanessa is in the chat. Hey, lady, how you doing today? She is the owner, a Black owner of Paradise Social Lounge, which is located at 3413 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. And on September 21st, we have a collaborative event going on. So Miss Vanessa is putting on a customer appreciation barbecue. It'll take place in the beautiful courtyard that she has been renovating an establishment. If you drive down King Drive and you see some beautiful blowing white canopies going on, that is Paradise Lounge. And she is doing some fantastic things out there. And so she just wants to bring people in to show their appreciation. And she's going to be hosting a barbecue on September 21st at 12 p.m. And in a conjunction with her, we're going to be having a spectacular open mic hosted by yours truly, Moesghetti. So doors open at 12 o'clock. So come on, get you some barbecue. The open mic will start at 2 p.m. So singers, poets, comedians, whatever your artistry is, whatever you feel like doing, getting on the mic, come do some storytelling one way or the other. come spend some time with me, your girl Moesghetti. I will be hosting, making sure that we have good vibes, good energy, good time as we celebrate the evolution of Paradise Social Lounge. So I'm really excited about this spectacular open mic. Again, that is September 21st. Doors open at 12. The open mic will start at 2. It is free to attend, free to get on the mic. So just come on through and let's just have a good time and officially close out the last official day of summer with us over at Paradise Social Lounge. Again, 3413 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. All right. And then when the sun goes down on September 21st at Muse 33, we will be presenting yet another round of After Dark. That's why I start talking crazy. Yes, doors open for that at 8 p.m. Showtime is at 10 p.m. 5916 West Burnham. Muse 33 presents After Dark, an erotic poetry session. If you're interested in that, tickets are $25 and $30 at the door. Hit me up and I might just have an exclusive deal for you. And that'll be on the evening of September 21st. So we have a lot of things going on that day to close out the summertime. So come on out. We're going to have some good poetry, some good singing during the day. We're going to have some adventures at night. So if you're interested, I'll have all those flyers on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and all of that going forward, so you guys will be able to keep up to date with what's going on. Fast forward. Let me take my nighttime voice off and put my daytime voice back on. Speaking of actual church announcements, on September 29th, the Central Church of Christ, located at 1830 West Monroe, will be having our Friends and Family Harvest Sunday. So if you are interested in looking for a new church home or just visiting us over at the Central Church of Christ, is Harvest Sunday is on September 29th. Service starts at 10:30 a.m. The theme, khaki and white, is the color theme that we go for Harvest Sunday. If you have those colors, wear them and participate. If you don't, just come as you are. It's dress down day, it's casual day, and we have our doors wide open for you guys so we can harvest some new souls onto the Lord. So yeah, September 29th at the Central Church of Christ. We'll see you there for Harvest Sunday. And then my last announcement for the week, I feel like I got so many announcements, but if you saw, and I didn't compile one for September, and I really should have. If you saw my August, Moesghetti stay busy. I am very, very booked, but I am very, very excited about all of the adventures that I am able to have in my artistry. I forgot something.
You forgot about the poetry that you recently did with TBR. You haven't been back since that day.
I haven't, but I didn't forget. It's just that I have so many church announcements about what I have coming up that I didn't really get into all my thank yous about all the stuff that I did. I didn't forget to announce that when I was on air, though.
It's true. I just want you to talk about it.
You just want me to talk about it?
You're dope.
Tone would like for me to speak about how fantastic I was at the TDR poetry set that we had. When was that? Like 2 weeks ago. We actually had a very fantastic time at Wildflower.
Yep.
Wildflower on was at 40th and Burleigh.
38.
38th and Burleigh. It was actually a fantastic time. I was on the mic along with Apollo 517, Prince Dan, and Afro Ashe, the legend. We had a fantastic time. And Mr. Tone Deaf himself hit the mic as well. We had a really good time, and I'm looking forward to the next TDR poetry night, open mic, words mean things session. So if you missed that one, keep your eyes open for the next, because it's only going to get bigger and better and more fantastic. And Tone has more poems. Stop interrupting my show, or get a mic and come over here. You got to pick one. I'm gonna give you the option to grab a mic and come over here, or leave me alone. Okay, he said he's gonna leave me alone. Y'all hold it to him. Hold him to that. I have to hold him to that. Y'all ain't even here. Hi. Okay, the last official announcement for the church announcements, which is what I'm doing right now, is speaking of poetry sets. On October 8th, I, Moesghetti, will be the featured artist at Food for Thought. Food for Thought is a be Tuesday, October 8th. Food for thought at Mikasa Su Cafe. Doors open at 7 p.m. Showtime is at 8. It's $10 at the door, $5 on Eventbrite ahead of time. That is 1835 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. So put that on your calendars. We got a couple of weeks. We are exactly a month away from it. The last feature that I did was back in May, and I'm cooking up some material that you guys haven't even heard yet because I haven't written some of it yet. But I'm really planning a fantastic show, and as we get closer, I don't know. I'll see whether or not I'll clue you guys in on what I have planned for that day. But it's absolutely something very, very special. And I'm really excited about it. Food for Thought is one of my poetry homes, and I appreciate the work that Trunk Bussa, Get Money, and DJ Marty Marr doing over there. It's a very special space. And so come on out Tuesday, October 8th. Put it on your calendar. Moesghetti's gonna be the feature, and I'm gonna set some fire up on there. Hey. Okay. So here we go. Let me adjust the mic. Let me get some water. If you in the comments say, hey, if you watching, say, hey, I see somebody on here. All right, guys. Let's get into the topic of today. People pleasing. People pleasing. People pleasing. Now, like I said at the top of the show, this subject has been chasing me all week, but likely been chasing me all my life. But it's really been coming up in many conversations throughout the week about what people pleasing is, what people pleasing looks like, and how deeply ingrained it is into society, almost as an expectation, and how deeply ingrained and how covert it can exist within us as individuals. And so I decided that it's a really important conversation for us to have because the tendency to people please takes away so much of us individually, and we don't even really know that that is what this experience is called. And sometimes when you're unable to label a thing, you're unable to walk away from it and seek something new without feeling super guilty. And so I wanted to address people pleasing today because it is something that I struggle with, I've dealt with, I deal with. And it's something that I didn't even realize I was dealing with as pervasively as I am. And the more conversations I have with other people, I realize that they're also dealing with people pleasing, but we call it many other things. We hide it behind many other faces, but really we're giving ourselves away. And it's all an act of people pleasing. So I wanted to talk about it today so that we can identify it, we can address it, and we can recover from it. So that we can all live lives that are much more in alignment with the things that we want for ourselves and what God wants for us. So, people pleasing. What is it? What is it? People pleasing is when someone consistently tries to make others happy, even at their own expense. People pleasing is when someone consistently tries to make others happy, even at their own expense. So, not just once or twice, but this becomes like a habit, almost a personality trait of you going out of your way, giving up parts of yourself and in the vein of making other people happy. Sometimes it's at the detriment of yourself, sometimes it's not. But it is a consistent characteristic that shows up throughout different areas of your life. And so what that can look like is having difficulty saying no, taking on extra work that is unnecessary for you to take on, overcommitting yourself to things just because people asked you to do it, avoiding advocating for yourself in those moments in which you really should be speaking up and standing up for yourself, avoiding disagreeing with people, for the sake of keeping the peace, and going along to get along. So basically, people pleasing in the vein of consistently trying to make others happy, even at your own expense, is what happens when we don't want to rock the boat. It's what happens when we don't want to make other people mad. It's what happens when we don't want to take up space. And the problem in that is we consistently begin to take away from ourselves and deny what our wants and needs are in different scenarios. And so, in essence, it's not a bad thing for you to do well and do right by others, for you to want to see the people in your life and in your circle happy. But we call that empathy sometimes. Oh, I'm such a big empath. Oh, I love people. Oh, I'm such a giver. I just want to do well for everybody else. Well, there is a fine line between empathy and people pleasing. And that line has a lot to do with your relationship with the word no. It has a lot to do with whether or not, when you start to reach the limits of your own capacity, if you are able to scale back and prioritize yourself and your own needs, or whether or not you overextend your resources, time, energy, money for the sake of other people. And I say that that line between empathy and people pleasing is drawn at the word no, because when we are truly empathic, when we truly are caregivers and nurturers to other people, there's no problem with going out of our way. We say yes, we say yes, we say yes. But when we have reached our capacity and it is time to say no, when we need to honor ourselves and say no, those who are people pleasers struggle to say yes. Struggle to say no. They struggle to stand up for themselves. You'll have a whole full blown anxiety attack at the idea of telling other people no. And so we'll justify it by saying, well, I don't want to make them mad, or I don't want to be difficult. But really, we don't want to be uncomfortable ourselves. So the difference between a person who has great empathy for others, who is truly a giver, and a person who is a people pleaser is that those who are empathic, those who are givers, those who are genuinely generous from their heart, do it for the sake of giving, do it for the sake of kindness, do it for the sake of love of others. People who are people pleasers give and give and give to avoid experiencing pain. And that pain that they experience, sometimes it's just discomfort. Sometimes it's something a little bit more. Sometimes it is abandonment. Sometimes it is ridicule. And so, where does this people pleasing even come from? Where does it come from? Why do we do this? Why would we extend ourselves beyond our own capacity? Why would we say yes to things that we want to say no to? Why would we deny ourselves in this way when ultimately it is going against our best interest? Because really, people pleasing is self denial. People pleasing is self abuse because we're misusing ourselves and our resources. Why would we even do that? Where does that come from? Well, it comes from getting what we need as a means of social manipulation. Sometimes it's taught. Unfortunately, many of us who are natural people pleasers come from a long line of people pleasers. We see our loved ones, our mothers, our parents, our social circle overextending themselves, overgiving themselves, and it is taught as an expectation to be a good person. Sometimes it is guilted into us that in order to be good, you must give no matter the circumstances. You must make the people around you happy no matter what it costs you. And when you see that growing up, and when you see that in your social circles, and when that expectation is placed upon you, you feel like an outlier to not adhere to it. And it becomes easier on you, emotionally easier on you, socially easier on you or as it appears to deny yourself and overextend yourself, exhaust yourself, run yourself out of money, run yourself out of time, burn yourself to the ground to just give in to what these expectations are and let everybody else eat from your energy than it is to stand up for yourself. But it is in the standing up for yourself in which you truly find your own strength and your power. Sometimes the people pleasing is taught to us through trauma. It is taught to us through bad experiences that we've had with other people where we haven't given in and we haven't given their ways. And so they've taken from us violently, taken from us materially, taken from us through manipulating us into a circle until we say yes. Sometimes it's trauma based in a way of person yelling at us. Sometimes it's abandonment based and in a way of a person leaving us. We can trauma our way into, well, people can trauma us into becoming people pleasers because we've had an experience in which we have tried to advocate for ourselves. We have tried to stand up for ourselves, and it ended up leaving us in a place where we were actually uncomfortable, and not just a perceived discomfort, but a real, genuine violent situation, a real, genuine abandonment situation, a real, genuine uncomfortable situation. Hey, Brooks, good to see you in here. Thank you for the encouragement. He said, great topic. And so some of us haven't just earned our people, many of us have earned our people pleasing ways right out. But as I said before, people pleasing is a form of social manipulation. Because instead of getting the things that we need, we turn our ways into making ourselves most comfortable or a perceived version of comfort, which means that if I do things that abandon my true desires, I don't have to face conflict. That's what we get out of it, conflict avoidance. But the betrayal comes in the way of, I don't get the thing that I truly need. I get the temporary satisfaction of not having to deal with the situation. I get the temporary satisfaction of not having to stand up for myself, not having to debate with the person. I get the temporary satisfaction of this person quieting down. I get the temporary satisfaction of this person not abandoning me. But in the long term, I run myself to the ground. I have no energy because I've been running around for everybody else. I have no money because I've given away every dollar that I have to everybody else. I have no peace because I let people be in my space in a way that I don't actually desire for them to be. I have no peace because I'm still in a relationship with people who actually aren't good for me. Because I allow them to run freely through my life for the sake of not having to deal with the preeminent issue that is at hand. Because like I said, the difference between empathy and people pleasing is your relationship with the word no. If there's not a point in here in which you want to say no, you're giving. If I got $1 million and you ask for 5, it's not going out of my way. It is not overextending myself to give you $5. If I have $4 and you ask for 5, and I feel compelled to give you 10, I'm extending myself beyond my means. And so the fact that I am incapable of saying no, I'm having a hard time saying no when there is a point of no, tips us over to the other side. But it is that no, it is that moment of apprehension. It is the crux of why we don't want to adhere to what is being asked of us. That is the true thing that needs to be dealt with in order to overcome your people pleasing, in order to actually care for yourself, in order to actually hold up your life in the way that on the inside, you know you want to say no. On the inside, You know you want to speak up for yourself. On the inside, you truly do want to advocate for your own needs. But it's the people pleasing that turns your no into a yes or your yes into a no. It is the people pleasing that makes you deny the true fact of what your instincts or what your heart is telling you. And that's not to say that you do it once and every once in a while, because every once in a while you got to do something that maybe ain't your favorite thing. But like I said, it becomes a consistent character trait, becomes a consistent way of being. And it's not because you are being kind, but it's because you're trying to avoid conflict. You're trying to avoid actually dealing with the issue. So you don't have to actually be weak or a pushover to be a people pleaser. There's many strong people. It is very strong people. Mom, you said you were just watching how people made me sing. They asked. I probably did not want to do it, but sometimes I just don't be knowing what I want to sing or I didn't plan on it. That's a little different. But you don't necessarily have to be a weak person or a pushover in order to be a people pleaser. Some people appear to be very, very strong. Some people will punch you in the face, but still have people pleasing tendencies in other areas. We like to think that I'm strong, I got this, I'm tough, I can speak up for myself. It exonerates you from being a people pleaser. No. And the reason why is that we don't always people please in every scenario of life. We might pick and choose different areas in which we end up being people pleasers. Some folks are people pleasers with their partners. Whatever my boyfriend or my girlfriend or the situationship or the person I kind of like or got a crush on asks me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to betray myself. I'm going to go beyond my boundaries. I'm going to accept things from them that I would never accept in order to make them happy, even at my own expense. Some people become people pleasers for family. Yeah, you can give all the boundaries in the world to everybody out on the street, but as soon as your brother, sister, cousin need somewhere to stay or need some money, you feel because we're family, we blood, you have to say yes. No matter how much you want to say no, no matter how much this person treats you wrong or is unappreciative or whether or not you even have it to extend. We family. We blood. You got to. Some people become people pleasers at work. Well, they give me a paycheck. I don't want to lose this job, so I have to do what they tell me to do. Some people become people pleasers for their parents. Well, they brought me in this world. You know, the Bible say honor your mother and father, so your days will be long. Yeah, it also tells your parents not to provoke the children to wrath. They're also supposed to be leading you and guiding you in the admonition of the Lord. Some people are people pleasing to entities that don't ever actually exist. Some of us are out here people pleasing to social expectations. You know how many kids won't go to school if they don't have a new outfit, new shoes, or their hair done? Hi, sister. It's good to see you in the chat today. I know nephew misses me. We'll get a chance to see him. Hit me up sometime later. But yeah, some people are people pleasers to social expectations. There is a whole movement in the city, Kicks for Kids, that provides shoes for young people for their first day of school. Shout out Jakari. What's his last name? Jakari Carr. Great gentleman. He actually worked with my son because he was keeping track of St. Marcus alumni. Wonderful person. Kicks for Kids. Kicks for Kids' mission is to give shoes to kids who need them for their first day of school, because these kids really will not want to go because they don't have a pair of new shoes. Social expectation, making them feel like they have to please the people around them aesthetically. Instagram, with the way that it is. I love Instagram because of the way that I use it, but it is set up lofty expectations of what life is supposed to be, and people run themselves broke chasing after that. And it's not just Instagram. Long before there ever was Instagram, there was the idea of keeping up with the Joneses. The Joneses is not a real family that you're keeping up with. It's a hypothetical scenario of how you think life should look. People pleasing just from the aesthetic on the outside of an unrealistic, unattainable standard that nobody in particular placed on you. But you feel like you cannot say no because you must appease the people. Even if you can't afford it, you're buying clothes and cars and houses that you don't want or don't need. People pleasing. So you might have strong boundaries and standards when it comes to work or with your family, but you might have another area in your life where you betray yourself in order to gain social currency, but ultimately at the expense of yourself, because of your heart of hearts, you want to say no because you don't have the resource for it, the time, the energy, the money, the spiritual stamina for it. And so people pleasing doesn't even have to be to any person in particular. It has to do with you betraying yourself, your no, running your resources beyond their capacity for the sake of avoiding conflict. And that conflict might very well be within yourself. Society says do this, I want to do something else. Society says look like this, I want to look like something else. Yes, mom, spending money you don't have because of the idea of Christmas gifts. How many people go into the new year broke as a joke because my kids ain't gonna have nothing to open on Christmas morning? There's not gonna be anything under the tree. You said that's a tricky one. Why is it a tricky one? I'd love to hear why you say it's a tricky one.
because depending on your kids, this whole year may have been something that they worked for, and this is their reward for being that person.
Okay, so Tone says that's a tricky one because depending on how your kids are, this might be the reward that your kids work for, and this might be the opportunity to give them that thing. And so I see why you say that's a tricky one. But how far beyond yourself are you willing to go in order to make sure that they get that thing?
Kids,
It's your kids, your kids, the people you trying to please.
they earned it. They spent all year trying to please me.
Yes, they earned it, spending all year trying to please you, and that is that is therein where lies some of that taught people pleasing. They tried to please me all year, so I got to betray my resources in order to please them. Even when you don't have the money, is what my mom said. Why can't they get it in January when you get a more opportunity to save up? Yes, it can be disappointing. You don't want to deal with the conflict within your emotional conflict within yourself or the emotional conflict with your children by having to say no. And so there it is. It sucks. And if you can make it happen, it's a beautiful thing for you to be able to make it happen. But if you go into debt instead, use use your Christmas bonus. Now that if you're using your Christmas bonus and you don't want see, because we have to back up on that example a little bit. We have to back up on that example a little bit because I said the difference between empathy and people pleasing lies in your relationship with the word with no. If you have your Christmas bonus and you feel like your children earned it and you want to say yes, you want to give it to them, it is in your heart of hearts to do the yes. You got the time, the energy, and the money. Maybe you go and I don't know, do some Uber and do some door dashing to get some extra dollars in your pocket too, so you can give your children that yes that you actually want to give them. That's you working hard. That is you pressing forward. That is you making a way. That's you hustling. But them kids bad and you want to give it to them just for the sake of giving it to them? Nah. Just for the sake of them showing it off when they get back to school. See, in your scenario, they earned it, or you feel like they earned it. They worked hard for it, and it's a reward. It's not just to keep a smile on their face, but it's the sake of rewarding them for effort given. Effort for effort. But there's people out here who kids ain't earned nothing. And they will inundate them with everything in the world at their own expense just to say they did it, they got it, they have it, they do it. Oh yeah, like my mom said, I wanted y'all to say y'all got something good when your friends asked. There are people who will spend the rent money on Christmas just so you can say you got something good when your friends ask. So it's not in the spending the money on Christmas gifts as the scenario. It's whether or not you have it, whether or not you want to have it, whether or not you want to make a way, whether or not you're extending yourself past your no. We in agreement or no? We want to fight some more? I appreciate that caveat. I do. Because it is a thing to really sit with yourself with whether or not you are people pleasing or whether or not you are really just giving extra effort to go above and beyond the call of duty. Because I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going above and beyond, but when it becomes a detrimental character trait and you are draining yourself on a consistent basis for this, then it becomes a problem of not just giving out of your heart, but it becomes an issue of giving despite yourself. Let me get my thoughts back together. So, like I said earlier, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Because I see in many ways in which I don't like to deal with conflict. I sometimes don't advocate for my needs, even though on the inside I'm like, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I need. I know exactly the parameters of how I want to live my life. And I sometimes just won't speak up on it because I don't want I don't want to hear no if I try to advocate for myself. So fear of rejection. I don't want people to walk out of my life because they don't like how demanding I can be. A fear of abandonment. I don't want to have to deal with the argumentative nature or being asked questions about my motives if I speak up. Fear of conflict. And in each of those scenarios, I will end up going without what I need or end up putting up with something far beyond what is necessary. And so, in order to avoid people pleasing, you have to identify and implement boundaries. I mean, that is really like the main course of avoiding or recovering from people pleasing, is identifying and implementing boundaries. See, in the scenario that was given, we're on the Christmas gifts, and I'm gonna keep pulling that out because it was, brought up as a real life scenario. It's not a violation of the boundaries if you said, if you work this hard, I'm gonna give you this thing. It is a violation of the boundaries if they didn't work that hard and you still give them the thing. Because I don't want them to look sad because I said they can get it. You said you can get it under certain circumstances. Oh, but I'm going to give it to them anyways. I'm going to give it to them anyways because I bought it. I'm going to give in to people anyways because they asked. They were nice. when they ask to violate my boundaries. Oh, yes, some people will ask very nicely to violate your boundaries. Oh, come on. It's not that big of a deal. Everybody do it. Oh, come on. You got it. Oh, we family. You said they're trying to get you to what? Trying to get. I'm not saying that on the mic.
That's what it sounds like.
I do sound like an after school. Come on, man. But what peer pressure is nothing but people pleasing or somebody trying to get you to people please. When you want to say no and you say yeah and you give in, why did you give in? You didn't really want to do that. You didn't really want to do that. You already said no. Oh, come on, man. Like some people will nice their way around your boundaries. So it makes it even more difficult for you to say no because, oh, they're so kind. They're nice. They said no pressure. They do it for me. Or they did this one thing for me and they keep bringing up how they did this one thing for me. And so you have to identify and implement your boundaries. Identify what you will and will not do, what you can and cannot tolerate, how much time, money, energy, focus that you want to give to a thing, and stand on it. Identifying your boundaries, I've talked about it in episodes prior, really sometimes happens in real time when you're identifying I'm coming up against the area in which I'm uncomfortable. That is your boundary, the area in which you're uncomfortable, the area in which your resources run out. And you have to implement your boundaries. And yes, you will be uncomfortable doing this. If you are a people pleaser for real, implementing your boundaries, you will be uncomfortable. I'm sorry to say that to you, but you will be. If you were comfortable implementing your boundaries, we wouldn't be having this conversation about you being a people pleaser. You'd be out here living your best life. But because it is difficult for you to say no, because it is difficult for you to stand up for yourself, because you're going along to get along, but it's leaving you with distress on the inside. It will be uncomfortable for you when you have to make that change because you're going to have to confront all of the things that you were avoiding confronting in the first place. You're going to have to confront being abandoned. You're going to have to confront being disappointed. You're going to have to confront a conflict. You're going to have to confront the idea that maybe people successfully manipulate you. You're going to have to confront the fact that you've been giving yourself away beyond what you desire. You're going to have to confront a whole lot when you begin to consistently implement your boundaries in areas in which you have not been. You're going to have to confront the fact that you left a hole wide open in your life for people to violate you. Uncomfortable. And you got to patch it up. Uncomfortable. People won't like it. If people are accustomed to you giving in, you doing, you overextending yourself in a direction, and they no longer can benefit from what you were given before, they will not like it. They may call you selfish. If they're a narcissist, they might call you a narcissist. They may call you mean. They will not like it because they were benefiting from you violating yourself. They were benefiting from you overextending yourself, and now they lose something, and they may even retaliate. That's where all that uncomfortability comes from. Mom said doing something uncomfortable for you so that someone else doesn't feel uncomfortable. Exactly. And so when you create the boundaries, you're just shifting the discomfort from one side of the fence to the other. I was making myself uncomfortable so that you could be comfortable because I feel like other people aren't allowed to be uncomfortable. But I am. So when we are in recovery from people pleasing, we are identifying and implementing our boundaries. We give them their discomfort back. And we sit over here And we manage those emotions that are in conjunction with us saying no versus the emotions that are in conjunction with us violating ourselves. It's a different set of discomfort that we're dealing with once we tell people no. That discomfort might sound like guilt, but it's not betrayal. And it comes with the after wash, aftertaste of peace. We're giving that discomfort on to the other side for the sake of upholding what it is that on the inside, advocating for the what we really truly wanted on the inside in the first place. And so, yeah, you will be uncomfortable doing this because it's something you're not accustomed to. You will get uncomfortable doing this because people are accustomed to you giving up, are accustomed to you giving in, and they may have reactions. They may retaliate. But we set and implement our boundaries. We emotionally regulate and we press forward. Knowing that on the other side of this boundary setting, we keep our peace because those who are trying to violate it are on the outside. When you're in people pleasing recovery, you have to understand and commit to who you are supposed to be following and pleasing. We have a question. Mom says, how do you navigate someone reaching out for a hug and you don't want to touch them? You have a conversation with them about why you don't want to touch them. If you truly decide to have a conversation, or you can just say no thank you. People are not privy to your body. They don't have that. You must consent. You must have consent to touch people at any time. Even if you've previously had consent, you need consent in order to touch people. So revoke your consent. Create the boundary and deal with the discomfort that may occur when that boundary is created. And if you truly don't want people to touch you, you have all right to deny touch from somebody. But like I was saying before, when you're in people pleasing recovery, understanding and committing to who you are supposed to be following and pleasing. When you truly ask yourself, who am I following and who am I supposed to be pleasing in the scenario? It is okay if you'd like to please yourself. It is okay if you would like to put yourself first. Because, like I said, people pleasing is self denial. But beyond that, it is more important to please God than it is to please man. And there are some of us who will put so much stake and so much time and so much energy into our people pleasing that we have never in our life given that much energy and time and money and effort into pleasing God. And God may very well be telling you that you need to create some boundaries and move some of these people out of your space that are sucking up all your time and your money and your energy and your spirit. And especially if you got attachment issues and you're trying to hold on to things, you're trying to control things, and you're trying to keep people via your people pleasing, you might be like, but God, what if they're not around no more? What if I lose this job? What if I? Well, Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. And so when you're walking around people pleasing because you're trying to put it in your own control to keep these people, to keep things around you that you don't need, you don't have the faith that God will replace it. You don't have the faith that God has and will provide all of your needs. You don't have the faith that if things, people, places, and things are removed from you, that you will still live peacefully, beautifully, and abundantly. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. And so we're putting our faith in our actions versus putting our faith in our God. And that is a bigger violation than even overextending yourself, even over denying yourself. That is denying the power of God and his ability to provide, his ability to uphold, his ability to keep you, his ability to do the miraculous. And so when you're trying to understand like and commit to who you should be following, who you should be pleasing, especially if the people around you are requesting that you do things that are in violation of what God's law, what the Holy Spirit is guiding you to do, sometimes we're put in positions to figure out who we gonna follow, God or man. You have to have faith that if man upsets, denies, or leaves you, that God will provide. Absolutely. And so it is never meant for us to be people pleasers. To do goodwill, to be empathic towards our fellow man, God will provide everything that we need to in order to make those things happen. But when we are people pleasers, we're extending ourselves beyond, we're giving away what God has blessed us with to do our own lives with in order to uphold what somebody else wants. Our blessings are for us, our overflow is for them. And you giving from your direct blessings. Your time, your energy, your money. Yes, you can give your time away. God has blessed you with so many years, and you can waste it on chasing after other people and their desires. God has given you the activity of your limbs to do whatever it is that you need to do in a given day, and you can waste it on other people. God has given you the money to cover the resources of everything that you need in your life, and you can waste it on other people because you're overextending yourself and you cannot say no. You cannot say no to them, and you cannot say no to you. So, people pleasing. It goes beyond being a pushover. It goes into our own psyche of whether or not we've convinced ourselves that we are living a life that is good, but our gut and our instincts know where we are violating ourselves, where we are giving away, where we are compromising and convincing ourselves beyond what is healthy, beyond what is true. And in order to get past that, we have to set up our boundaries and we have to know what we are committed to. I think that's what I have on that. So I'm a work in progress. I told y'all that. I am a work in progress. And y'all are constantly seeing the evolution of Moesghetti. I ain't got on no makeup today. What you think I was gonna say? I'm gonna say I ain't got no makeup today. Because I really felt like embracing my natural beauty today. Um, and I like wearing makeup a little bit, but sometimes because of me, and sometimes because, oh my gosh, what this gonna look like? My age is starting to show up on my face just a little bit. But it wasn't about y'all. It was a is a I'm in a phase, I'm in a season right now where God is breaking me down. And he is testing my commitment to him. He is revealing my issues to me, and we're working on them together. And it ain't got nothing to do with people pleasing. It does have a lot to do with serving the world. It has a lot to do with serving, but my service and my people pleasing need to be separated so I can discern good, bad, and ugly. Because those who wish bad for me, they will dance on the fact that I am a servant. They will dance on the fact that I am a healer. They will dance on the fact that I am kind and loving and use it to their advantage and suck me dry of all my resources. Not generally my money, because I ain't even gonna lie. It's hard to get some dollars out of me that I don't want to spend. Like I said, people don't people please in every area all the time. But it sometimes it is easy to identify the areas in which I have a hard time saying no and betray myself. And so God and I are working together on that, on me. So not only I can be a better person for me, but I can be a better person for y'all. So I can lead the way and lead the charge of us getting to be better. And I don't desire anybody to be selfish, but I do desire people to have boundaries. I do desire people to love themselves enough to not give themselves away until there's nothing left. And so I appreciate y'all spending time with me today. Um, how I close this show out? I'll be praying and then stuff. Okay, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for your guidance. I thank you for your clarity. I thank you for your mission, your vision. And I thank you for the strength that you have given me in the past, and you are giving me now, and you will give me in the future to uphold not only my own standards and morals, but the will that you have for my life. I ask that you cover each person in their struggles in this area and other areas of their life. Each and every person who's underneath the sound of my voice, may you give them the strength. May you give them the clarity. May you give them the fortitude to honor themselves and honor your will. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank God and amen. I appreciate y'all spending time with me today. This has been another episode of Moment with Moesghetti. Don't forget to like, comment, share the podcast with anybody who you feel like might benefit from this topic. And of course, if you like to give any financial appreciation for the time that we have spent here, the energy that has been spent here, I do believe in reciprocity. You can hit my Cash App. It's hashtag Moesghetti. Buy me a coffee, buy me a car, whatever's in your wallet and whatever's on your heart. I greatly appreciate it. And until we meet again, this has been a moment with Moesghetti. Thank you for spending a moment with me. Tone, take me out.